All right, today we're going to talk about rotating your inbox. And this is important because most of the channels have policies in place when it comes to how many messages they let you send, and just also how many individual recipients in a 24-hour rolling basis mark you as spam. Now, this is important because it's a difference between channel policies and TCPA laws, right? So these aren't really laws that WhatsApp, SMS, Gmail, and Outlook are telling us to follow. They're policies. And another thing that's important to discuss here is that even if you're being TCPA compliant and capturing one-to-one consent, a recipient might still just mark you as spam, and there's nothing we can do about it. It eventually, though, with a high enough throughput, if enough people falsely mark you as spam, these channels will still consider you spam. And it's because they have policies like Outlook's anti-spam policy that also includes repeated unwanted communications. And so it doesn't even have to be unsolicited. If it's just no longer wanted, they also just group that in as spam, equivalent to someone who's trying to do phishing or someone who's actually spamming people. And so we can't really avoid eventually being marked as spam and having deliverability issues, but we can mitigate those risks with the inbox rotation feature. So to turn this on, you're going to navigate away from the homepage to your name. Now there's two parts to this. The first one is your account settings, and then the second one is in connections. So I start here because inbox rotation, each user on Pitchit can have practically unlimited channels for sending in the connections tab, but you can really only connect all those channels to one calendar for meeting booking purposes. And so let's just kind of role play here. We've got a user, let's say their name is Paul, and they feel like they have a higher throughput of leads per day than what each channel is going to allot for them. And so maybe they want to start systematically creating a bunch of different senders that book meetings onto a team calendar. And so that's what we're going to run through is that use case. So I created my account under Paul at Pitchit. That no longer can kind of satisfy my throughput, or maybe I just have some concerns on deliverability. So I'm going to connect a team calendar, right? And so I'm going to put my secret password in real quick. Now it's going to ask me which calendar I want to connect. Now you could do Outlook or Google. Our company's on Google, so I'm going to choose Google Calendar. And then it's going to take you to a section where you can choose from all the calendars you've basically logged in with on this browser. And any one of these is good, but this is what I'm talking about. So we've got a couple of team accounts, Pitchit Sales, Pitchit Team, Pitchit Updates. I'm going to do Pitchit Sales. And so this basically is going to book all meetings onto the Pitchit Sales calendar after I finish this integration. Tick all the boxes, click Continue, and it'll take you back to the screen. And what you're going to see is my login is still my Gmail account, but now my booked meetings will go onto a different calendar. And this is important, all right? And the reason it's important is now that we go to Connections tab, I'm also going to disconnect the Paul at Pitchit as a sender, and I'm going to connect a whole bunch of other Gmail accounts. When these campaigns go out, either in a broadcast or a workflow campaign, okay, what's going to happen is all the meetings that get booked from those campaigns, they're not going to get booked necessarily on Paul at Pitchit. They're going to get booked to whatever calendar the user has selected at this step. So if you've got a whole bunch of team members and each of them needs all of the meetings booked only on their own unique calendar, all you have to do is invite a new team member for each new calendar you want to book meetings onto. And then each of those users, and we have some videos on how to add team members, so I won't get into that today, but it's on this tab. Each team member you invite could add a unique team calendar and then have unlimited connections that book onto that calendar. And so that's basically how the data is connected from team member to the calendar to the number of connected channels for sending, okay? And so in this use case, again, I'm going to revoke the Paul at email or Paul at Pitchit.ai email, and I'm going to connect a couple of others. So we're going to connect, let's do all three of these team accounts. So the Pitchit-sales one that we used for the calendar, we're going to hook that one up for sending. I'm going to tick all of the boxes. It's going to take me back. And so now I've connected officially Pitchit-sales for sending and Pitchit-sales for calendar. Now this is another cool feature. You could turn on warm up. Warm up is really helpful if you have had deliverability issues or if this is a brand new email. And for Pitchit, this is a brand new email that I just created before this video. And so on any given day, I don't really want to go overboard here. These are all anti-spam policies for both Gmail and Outlook. And they're all basically looking at how many messages you're sending today. Is this a brand new email or not? How many as a percentage marked you as spam? And then how many total marked you as spam on a rolling 24-hour basis? And so these are all just ways to mitigate risks. We have this cool warm-up feature. And so what I'm going to do is set up basically 45 days or so of warm-ups where this email, which is brand new, can only send 40 messages a day. This is going to limit the output of messages to what Gmail would consider to be like a normal human's behavior. And then it's also going to limit how many potential spam reports I can get. So I can really only get a maximum of 40 a day. And that's because I'm only sending 40 messages a day. And so these are all just going to help reduce the risk. At the end of the warm-up period, this will automatically turn off and you'll go to the maximum daily value, which I believe is 1,000 on Gmail and 500 on Outlook, or it might be the other way around. I can't remember. Either way, it'll significantly increase my daily output after the warm-up period is over, so on February 28th. If you don't want this feature, all you have to do is turn it off. No big deal. Now we're going to connect another, and we've got 2 more to go. So let's do Pitchit-team, and make sure you tick all the boxes. Click continue. Now this time I'm not going to do warm-up, and so we'll kind of talk about what that does. And then the third one, we're going to connect now, and we're going to do Pitchit-updates at pitchit.ai. Now that we have basically all of these connected, okay, what's going to happen is if I launch a broadcast campaign and I'm having some deliverability issues with email inbox X, so I turn on warm-up feature. But email inbox B and C are totally fine, and the warm-up feature is not on because of that, right? Then ultimately what's going to happen is the campaign you've built in Pitchit, either broadcast or workflow, if you get, let's say, 1,000 leads in a 24-hour period, Pitchit's only going to send 40 from this first inbox, and it's going to send the other effectively 960 from the other 2. And the way it works is it rotates. So you've got 1,000 leads. Lead 1 goes out with this inbox, lead 2 with inbox B, and lead 3 goes out with inbox C, all the way up to basically the 40th message being sent on all 3, at which point this one's going to turn off. And everything thereafter, it's just going to take turns sending. So email goes out, email goes out, email goes out, email goes out. It'll just keep taking turns until all 1,000 leads have been sent out. And so the total number of messages by the end of a 24-hour period would be 40 sent with email A, effectively 960 divided by 2, so 480 with email B and 480 with email C. So long story short, that connects multiple inbox to rotate in email. Now we're going to go over to SMS. SMS is a little different because we're using infrastructure for a telephony system instead of email. They have very similar laws though, so they're also paying attention to how many messages you're sending. Is the phone number brand new? Did you get it toll-free verified, which every phone number from Pitchit will be, and then also how many people marked you as spam every 24 hours, and then as a percentage of your sending rate, what is that percentage of spam divided by the number of people who you sent a message to. And so it gives you a score. And if it's too low, basically that SMS is going to start getting throttled or even just blocked from sending messages. So same exact thing happens, just a different channel. And it's the same reason why we want to connect to multiples, okay? So what you got to do is you got to go and get your Twilio account SID. I'm going to go ahead and load mine in here. And make sure you get rid of all abbreviation. So it's just the numbers and the plus the international code, right? So the international code and then the number, okay? Hit connect. And this basically connects phone number A, and we're going to connect phone number B and C now. Same exact steps, just repeat them. There's phone number B connected. And let's just say that's all we want, right? So 3 emails and 2 phone numbers. Now, the reason you might want fewer phone numbers than emails just is because Twilio and most SMS channels do allow for a higher daily volume right out of the gate. And if you have a good score at the beginning, it can significantly increase the amount of throughput that any one phone number can send. And so you very well may need 10 emails, but only 2 or 3 phone numbers if you've got a good score on your SMS channel. And so today I'm only going to connect these 2. And then we're going to jump over to WhatsApp. And WhatsApp is basically the same. You put in your account SID, your auth token, and the WhatsApp phone number. And your WhatsApp phone number is very likely the same as your Twilio phone number. At least that's how I generally set them up to be. So let's go ahead and put these numbers in, out, click connect, and then we'll do the final one here now. Okay, and now that it's all finished up, let's kind of do a quick role play. So if I'm going to create a workflow campaign, all right, let's just assume this is like test campaign. We're going to say hello world. Next. Oops, already using that name. Test campaign 23, fine. I'm not going to hook up Zapier's because this is just for a demo. So we're just going to click next. And then the final part, you have to choose channels, right? And so you're going to see that creating the campaigns is still identical. It's the exact same steps in creating a campaign. You finish writing all of this information, right? You paste in your answers to each of these fields, and then you just click Pitchit. And what's going to happen is now that this campaign is just sitting, waiting to be sent, right? What's going to happen if I load 1,000 leads in is, let's go back to the connections tab. If I send 1,000 leads, it's going to take turns sending 1,000 emails with the workflow I just built between these 3 inboxes. And after 40, this one will turn off, and then the second and third will take the rest. Under the SMS channel, it's going to send 1,000 leads between these 2, so basically 500 for each. And then in WhatsApp, same thing, 500 for each. And that way, if I do get some spam reports, they're spread between 3 accounts on Gmail, they're spread between 2 accounts on SMS, and 2 accounts on WhatsApp. And so you very well likely will effectively at least double the lifetime that you can use each of these channels. And if you add even more emails, SMS, and WhatsApp accounts, again, you just increase the lifetime into almost perpetuity that you can use all of these accounts, because at some point the number of daily spam reports you get, if you're practicing TCPA compliant exercises on Pitchit, it's going to be such a low percentage of your sending of the amount of messages that you send that you probably won't actually ever have deliverability issues. And so that's the whole point of this feature, is to just make it easier to have your messages not end up in spam, even if you have a really high throughput. Now, the number of channels that you can connect is practically unlimited inside of each of these accounts. And so you should not be you shouldn't be stopped if you want to add 40, right? I'm just doing a couple in this video because I wanted you to see how the user interface works. But there by no means there is no limit to how many Twilio numbers you can do. You can definitely do a lot more than 2. Anyways, without further ado, that basically shows each of you how you can set up inbox rotation so that you stay out of the spam inbox and avoid breaking on accident the anti-spam policies on Gmail, Outlook, SMS, and WhatsApp.